So, guys, this is Pixelia here. I'm tonight with Manzier, the DG community legend,
The
who
grand
has agreed to join us for an interview and tell us a little bit about himself. How are you doing today, bro? Everything going
great.
well?
Yes, nice to see you finally in person. Kind of
Yeah, it's
virtually.
always good to put a face to the twerking Jesus. Uh, Brando, I must assume you're doing what you're doing always. You're playing some poker right now. Am I right?
I'm in the Diamond Hand City right now, and having a
You're the Diamond Hand City
dinner.
tonight. Oh yeah, I'm jumping in right after.
Me too.
I want my XTG.
Right.
So,
I just want more ice so I can get more bad.
were you able to break 100K XDG already, or getting there?
I'm at 105 as of like last week,
Oh,
and
and you bought a lot of it in discount.
yeah.
Sussy.
Oh yeah, because I remember when you know uh, when I started with learning about decentral games and such. It was prior to the 1,000 for 1 split, and so one DG was like I think it was like $60 when I started, and they were
What?
yeah, which would be what like 6 cents today or 60 cents today.
60.
Yeah, and then it spiked up to like 500 when I sold what I had at that time, and then I bought back, and
That's
so waiting for it to hit again, hopefully.
oh
Take
man,
a
I
double
am
dip.
so I am so all in on DG. I am so
Mhm.
bullish on DG. Like it's just such a consistent team, bro. I love them.
Well,
Now,
yeah,
Brando,
that's
before we hit DG and how much we love them, because I can tell in your face like you really have quite appreciate the appreciation
yeah.
for the team and the
Yeah,
project.
there's a history, and so
Yeah.
yeah,
So
fun.
I am dying to hear the history
Hmm.
lessons on DG, but first I want to ask your personal history lesson, and it is that would lead me to the first question that I always ask is how was your first interaction with crypto that led you to acquire your first coin, whatever that was,
Sure.
and how was that process involved in leading you to the central end? Like
Yeah,
how was
so
that journey?
it really started when uh, I was trying to build out a gaming machine for my kids
Oh,
3.5 years ago, and there were no video cards anywhere, and it baffled me. So I started looking into what crypto is because they were being sold out to all the miners. And I bought a black market video card, a 3070 NVIDIA for 600 bucks from some guy in a parking lot. You know,
it's like trading guns.
yeah, it was a little crazy time. I remember, and then I bought that to put in my gaming machine because I was going to build a Minecraft server for my kids. Right, and we were going to learn how to program and cool stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
But then I started learning about crypto because there was no hardware available. And then I downloaded NiceHash and just started mining with my NVIDIA graphics card on my desktop. I was like, well, I can make $6 a day. Start doing the math. Next thing you know, I've got 80 of these things burning in my basement. And so that's how I got my first crypto. It would have been Ethereum
You mine
mining.
it.
Yep, yep. And then
That's the first time I've heard anybody ever
this is a
acquiring.
mining right here. What's left of one? There used to all those video cards used to be in here.
Oh, like handling it like a rack. It was like a
Yeah,
like a
I
GPU
got
rack.
another one in the basement that's still fully.
Oh,
I'll send you a picture of it.
that's dope.
Yeah.
So you
So
you
yeah,
got your
that's
you mined your first ETH, and then what?
then it's like, well, what is it, right? Like, I don't know. It's not Bitcoin. People are talking about what you can do with. Well, first I started with Bitcoin mining or with NiceHash, and they paid out in Bitcoin, and I wanted to, you know, get them out of the equation and just get my Ethereum. Um, but I didn't know what it was. And so I'm learning, looking online, researching, and I found Decentraland.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the only thing that kind of made sense, but I couldn't quite get the connection of like virtual land and what it is and such. So I logged into Decentraland,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a real ramp up to onboard, right? Like I popped into Wonder Zone. I'm sitting there, and I'm like, do I buy Wonder coins? It's like $700 for like two. you know? But I sat in Wonder Zone for a while, and I remember hearing some Australian guy talking over my speakers, and I look around. And
Like that, you had the chat open.
yeah, he was. He was giving a tour. He's just standing there talking
Oh,
about.
Billy T coin.
Huh? He
You
was
bumped into Billy T coin.
he was teaching people what Decentraland was. And so I just stood there and listened to this guy. And there was like 10 other people there. And he's teaching us how to talk, how to emote, what we're about to do. He's about to teach me how to port using the go-to to his property. And then we all go to his property. Long story short, that was 100 Rainbows, who you see works for DG. But at the time he showed, I don't think he was working for DG at the time, maybe. But it was a really interesting experience because he took the time to talk, to answer, everybody's questions, and was really clear about what he was instructing us. He knew how hard it was to kind of get a grasp on this new virtual
it is
metaverse.
overwhelming.
I'd never even heard of a metaverse. And so I left his property. He took me to, I said, where's the games? Where do I go gamble? And so he brought me to Tomanoa, where, at that time you could bet blackjack, craps, and roulette. Just like they're free games, but you could bet with ice, or not ice, Mana, Atari Coin, and a couple others. And so what helped, though, is it helped me to really understand the different tokens. I really had to learn it. To get money into play was, I had no clue.
Like you had to learn how to buy this coin to then change it, swap it to this, then swap it to this, and send it there.
Move it over to Polygon.
Like bridge it, and like these are technical aspects. This can be overwhelming. I agree with you 100%. Like
I remember talking to one of the guys. I think it might have been, it probably was Rainbows at the time, and we were talking. And I sent money. I thought like, oh, okay, I got to send money to this address, which I think is my character's address. And I'm like, okay, I sent the money. Why is it in the casino? And I remember talking to him, like, this onboarding, right? Because I had to go through the Polygon bridge and all that. And so it's come light years since then. It was, you would make a transaction, you'd be nervous the whole time. Like, did I do it? Now it's just like I'll send NFTs back and forth.
But this is back when DG was working with actual crypto.
Yep. So it was before Ice Poker. It was before any poker. They had the across from Tomanoa used to be a Western type casino, like a saloon.
I never saw that, like I came to the Central maybe October, November 2021. So by the time I got to Tominoya, it was already the new version, Ice Poker was already it was in its early stages, but I was kind of reluctant to any casino activity.
Right.
Like in my mind, the thing is this: I'm good at blackjack, but when you're playing with money, it's easy to also lose money.
Yep.
So I once took a stand, like a solid stand against casinos. Like, I'm not playing anymore. Then I heard about ice poker and I was like, what? Come again?
Yeah.
So you come into this
Well,
scenario way before ice poker.
yep.
You get involved in the community, and then what? Like you guys, like, well, tell me a little bit about how was the vibe in that time. What was the?
So back then, there was maybe a really awesome day would be where there was a free play event, or they had crypto tourneys too, where you would get 50 people would show up, and it was amazing, you know. And at the same time, really I was more looking for Decentraland and got into Decentralgames, and that took me to another level. At the same time, I was learning Blender and how to make wearables, and I made one, but it had the Brondo logo on it from the movie Idiocracy, and so
Yeah,
I lost 500 mana, which at that time was like $500.
yeah, it was $500. I was
Yeah,
gonna.
I tried to resubmit it like 6 different ways, but anyways, um, so then I'm hanging out in Discord talking to Pop Rocks, um, or just anybody really. But it was a Pop Rocks event, and I said, "Hey, can I use your logo? You mind?" You know. And
Mm-hmm.
so we started talking. I got connected to Pop Rocks that way. I made 2 wearables. I made a whole bunch of wearables for him, but only published 2. Just for free, and that's what we give away. You know, I give that stuff away. He's okay with it. I'm okay with it. You know,
Yeah.
sell some sometimes, but that got me to the level of learning more about the technical side of Decentraland and Decentralgames. Come a little bit later, I get back more into Decentralgames side of things when they started to beta test just the poker tables, and it would be sauce and spicy basically, and I think um, those are the main people who would run it, and they would do NFT launches with poker tournaments, and there would be like a prize of a quarter, 0.25 DG for the table that won. They would do. I think the setup is still up there. Probably it's 4 tables, and you would just walk up and buy in with whatever. It was just imaginary chips.
Yeah, like
And
free play chips, but there
yeah,
was someone keeping count. Like,
yeah, if you got booted, and you sat back down and you tried to rejoin with like 2,000 tokens, and you're supposed to have 800,
uh huh,
everybody freak out, and you have to readjust everything.
yeah,
Um, yeah, it was completely manual. It was like, can we get a sign or something that tells people not to just click the floating card?
yeah,
Because you get booted out. But we got really good at rebalancing the chips to where they were about supposed to be, and it was so fun because it was every night practically, or it had to be almost every night, and so that's where I got a lot of my DG to begin with, was just because you'd
playing.
play these tourneys and you'd get 0.1 or 0.25. Next thing you
Nice.
know, you got like 5 or 10 DG, and back then that's worth $100 each ish, and then it just you supplement it,
Mm-hmm.
and it just you cash in, It was
That's
really
dope.
awesome. And then when Ice Poker launched, it was awesome.
Talk to me about that. Like, talk to me about what was the pre-launching vibes, launching vibes. Like,
Everybody, it's my first mint ever, and so I'm freaking out. I'm like, I don't know what to do.
oh,
And
you
I had,
pop the cherry with DG.
huh?
You pop your minting cherry with DG.
I
That's
did it. I did
dope.
it big time too. I had one, two. I had my 3 computers going, or monitors going on 3 different browsers. I had Brave, Chrome, and Firefox.
Oh, you
One of
were
the,
all in on minting. Like
I had
you
3
were
different.
definitely
I was
minting.
gonna mint as many as I possibly could, and there was only, what was it, 100 of each,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had a laptop with a couple browsers too, and they sold out so fast, and I think I got 3 or 4. I might have got all 5. I didn't get a full set. I know I got like 2 cigars at the time, uh, but it was pretty awesome. And then the next mint came, and they just kept selling out so fast. and the price just went through the roof. And at that same time, Facebook announces that they're gonna start
Doing
Meta,
meta.
and
Yeah.
Mana went up to like $4, $5, and so I'm looking at these things that are selling out instantly. I put one of them on. I remember I put one of my Genesis NFTs on just the Decentraland marketplace,
Yeah.
and I put 3,000 mana on it at $4 per, and it sold like fast. I was like, oh, time to quit. You know, I mean, we were making because you could, you know, if you ran 3 or 4 tables, you could make 100, 200, $300 a day.
Yep. Look, the first time I was ever delegated, I think ice was already at 20 cents or something like that.
Yeah,
Um, I would get like $50 per day,
yeah.
something like
On,
that. Like no, $50,
yeah,
$50 per like yeah every 3 days. No, I think
okay.
it's
Yeah,
more like more like it. $50 per like $50 per day per every 3 days. That's more like it. And within 3 months, I got my first world being
okay.
delegated. Like I grinded for
Yep.
3 months, like
Oh,
eight
really?
hours per day, 2x.
That's
Like I
awesome.
was fixed on 2x daily,
Yep.
and it got me there fast. Like I put a little bit extra to get it, but I got it from secondary. Someone like I don't know if like maybe someone paper handed it or it was like someone wallet was drained and it was resold. I don't know. I never knew, but it was my first world. I started playing, and now I'm up to six.
Yeah. I went through a lot of them. I had, I think the most I've ever had in my possession would be, though I'm at 11 right now, and or 10. I think I had 12, but I've bought and sold a whole bunch. You know,
Yeah,
and
like
yours is probably one of mine. It's hard to
yeah,
tell because you mint it, right, and then whoever upgrades it, the minted one, you know, what I mean, you can't tell
it's
if
hard.
your level 5 was my
It's hard,
level 1.
and it's hard to keep track because of the the once you upgrade it gets burned and all these things. So it's kind of hard. But
Yep, like
oh,
you
so
have to
so,
log
so
it.
you were able to cash in some profits when it spiked. That's dope.
Yep,
But you sticked around even when it went down, so
yeah,
that tells a lot about you and your commitment to the project as a community member. That means that like just like myself, you believe in the project
I do.
yourself.
It's
um,
it starts out with just trust of the team, right? And
I wanted to ask you exactly that. Why do you believe in the project?
I can tell you why. My memory's getting less good now than it was 3 years ago when it happened. But I remember at those nights with poker games in Tomanoa, watching. Uh, you know, we were animals at the table, right? And somebody come in and boot you off a table, and we would scream at them and just really rail on anybody who screwed up our tournament. And then I remember noticing how Sauce one day was like, "Yeah, hey, come over here with me and play over here." To somebody who came in, right? And everybody was just being a jerk to him. And then I realized, wait a minute, these guys, I mean, they care about every person that was coming in, right?
Mm.
And like took the time to look at what that user's experience is from the moment they walk in while they're playing the game. They really, you could see that they weren't there just to grab a quick buck and run, right? They're sticking with it. I'm sticking with it, right? Like
Yeah,
they're there. They're nice, helpful. You could see the commitment to the product, and then it's just reinforced time and time again when we went from just those little tournaments. We're just want to play cash games. How do we get money into this, right? It's great that we're winning. I think it's going to be huge when they start opening up to like cash games. And then they launch Ice Poker, and it was like, oh my god, this is just insane, you know.
Yeah.
And so you realize what they were building from what we were doing, and two different products, right? But you could see how what we did as community members helped
To build.
to build what they took our information and our feedback and created something that was beyond what we could
Amazing.
even imagine, you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then,
yeah.
and then they say, well, we're going to do a mobile version, and then they do a mobile version,
And
and
then they do it.
it's even better, you know. And you can see where mistakes were made that have been learned from, and now and every iteration gets a little bit more polished, and you know. Who's the new marketing lady girl?
Well, I,
She just did a post today.
I'm so bad at names, but I'll get it to you right now.
But she, you know, her posts are really awesome to see. You know, the openness of here's what we're spending, here's why we're spending it, and here's what, you know. So now we're seeing Matrix.
Transparency,
K,
Victoria.
yeah, yes. And so now we can see the KPIs and where, you know, what the real numbers are. So it's a really exciting time for me because I got a ton of XDG, and I don't see any reason why, you know, this company is not going to be, you know, I picture 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what other games are they going to have? They have the name Decentralgames, first of all, right?
That's
It doesn't
look.
have to be just poker. It
You
could be
just
pinball machines.
you just hit me like in the center of my heart. This is like once sat here, this very computer, and I started thinking the same that you just mentioned, right? Like,
There's so much they can do, and there's a
well,
team.
like how many things they have accomplished during the worst
Oh yeah,
winter I've experienced myself so far in this crypto space. Um, they have stayed away from the drama, like zero drama,
yep,
100% like committed mindset to building an amazing product.
yep,
And like you've said, like the commitment on listening to the community, the feedback, and you can see it like on weekly basis. It's happening. The consistency
yep,
of this team and the transparency of the team,
yeah,
those were the two key factors for me, because I did what you just did. Like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what's going to happen
right.
if you keep behaving this way? You're just going to grow exponentially, and you're not called ice poker, you're called the central games.
Right.
So you
Ice
can create
poker.
a shed load of games, and your reputation already will be preceding you. So
Right, and this isn't just some cobbled together. You know, I don't want to name any other games, but you could see some games that are pretty low quality that are making money, but it ends up being, you've got the people who come into a crypto project and they just want to wring out every penny, and you see them talking in the government channels and everything about how do we extract every penny out of the ICE token right now,
yeah,
and it's like, here, let's just let the product mature, and it's there, right? So
it's just, I think that some things in life, they just require time.
yep,
Like it can be a bitch, but it just takes time. Like there's a few things that you can do in life to speed things up, but you cannot speed time up. That's just it.
yeah, Google doesn't turn shit up overnight. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? The turnaround time here is probably double, triple what it is at a large, like a Google or a Microsoft, right? And
yeah.
so when you see people trying to troll and talk shit about how, why don't we, why don't we do this or this or this now? What's taking so long? Well, what's taking so long? Take a little longer, please. If you need to look at the code one last time and it costs me
Just
another week,
do it.
yeah. And so I'm
Why
happy to
not?
see it. I remember That's a longer story for next time. But
That's okay, bro. Let me one last thing. Um, you know, what would you say to a like? What would you have to say or tell to a person that is joining us tonight at Stronghold for the first time for his first ice poker experience? What would be your advice for this new user, new player? Um, you know, you have a lot of experience.
I
There
think,
must be something worth sharing. You know?
yeah, I would say, my advice to anybody in crypto would be to go play ice poker, because you'll learn everything there is about crypto and metaverse. And so I say, when you're in Stronghold or wherever you're at in Decentraland or any of the venues of Decentral Games, be social and have fun, right? What's going to make it succeed is when people have fun, right? And so, encourage people to help others and have a good time, right? Don't worry about hitting. If you miss your eighth win or your 10th or how many ever you got, one day whoopee.
There's
Don't
always reset.
need to go crazy over it. You don't need to sit there and flip out at somebody so you can get your eighth win in the last 15 minutes, right? Just have a good time. You know.
Yeah, and there's always reset. Like I'm telling you, there's always reset.
Yeah.
You had a bad day. Remember, it resets.
Yeah.
So,
When I'm having a bad day, I just start throwing all my chips in. I'm done. All in, all in, all in. Get me out of
yeah,
this.
I'm. That's more or less what happens to me. I get pissed at Pepe, and I'm like, okay, so you're doing this. I have aces, pair of aces. Okay, I'm going all in. Okay, so I lost again. Thank you, Pepe. Okay, again.
My
It's just how it is.
my stats, I don't know where to find them. Yeah, my player stats are just horrific. I am all time bottom 48%.
No,
Finishes. If my delegates showed up with my wallet, I would be like, no.
no. You can't do that.
I finished
Only I can do it.
322 challenges finished out of 1,350.
Oh, that's.
Uh, I get distracted easy.
I'm gonna edit that, and I'm gonna introduce like a 1,000 out of 1,000. Oh, bro. So that's not, like I wanted to end the conversation there, but you just mentioned something that I need to ask you, like your delegates.
Yeah.
How do you like? What's your experience with them? Like, how has it been? What advice would you give to someone seeking delegates on how to keep them and how to keep
Yeah.
them around? I have
I don't
no
know.
idea.
I have one guy now, as of today, and that's Hiroto Kai. I got him back into Decentral Games a couple weeks ago by delegating to him. Other than that, it's been tough. Like, I'll delegate to somebody, and you get ticked off or annoyed. It's like, how many days in a row can you know, not have
Mm,
internet or something?
that's
So, at the price it is right now, it's not a big deal to me if I miss a day. Um, so I'm pretty casual right now. If somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, I got a real person," and if it's somebody I trust, if you came to me and say, "Hey, I got this guy, I want to, have him play," I'll give him some items. I'll stack them if I can. But back in the day, I had the Discord server going, and we were going pretty hard at tracking them and everything. And maybe I'll get back there one day, and maybe that's just something that's going to go away.
mm,
What I'd like to see one day is possibly, I like that idea of having where all the delegates put their names in a hat, and it's managed by the website Decentralgames, where they do the
oh,
management.
okay, yeah, like a delegate pool.
Yeah,
I am looking forward
I
to that
would
as well.
love I would love that feature as of today, right?
Yeah,
Again, I
we'll
would
see
love
what
that
the
option to do either, though, right? Like if,
we'll see what the future holds. Yeah, maybe both are a good solution.
yeah,
Especially with guild wars. So it's. I think we need to revisit this conversation, my
yeah.
friend. Thank you for being
Well,
here tonight, bro. I really
thanks,
appreciate it.
thanks for reaching out. That's
No,
my first ever interview on a live
it,
stream.
it it will not be your last. Trust me.
All right,
You
have a
have a
good
good
one.
one, Manzier. Thank
All
you
right,
for being here tonight, bro. Bye.
thanks. Bye.